Okay, here is my pipeline. I don't have any special pipeline for character modeling. Actually, my pipeline is very common, but if I need some application or some technique to adding or removing my pipeline, I do that. So it's not the fixed pipeline or the only pipeline in the world to creation a character. As a brief, I can say the pipeline is like this. We need a 3D modeling, high poly version of the character. Then we need a low poly version of it. And with the baking, we should get the get the details from the high poly model and bring them to the low poly version, and then doing texturing and presenting in Unreal. Actually, it means applying the materials into Unreal Engine 4. But let's see what exactly I'm going to do here. Usually, as a 3D character artist, we need a concept, and here I mixed up two concepts to each other. One of them is the head, another one is the body. So I mixed them to each other to get this image here. And I will show you how we can find the appropriate reference for the concept. This is the first step of every character creation. After that, we need to start working with something. As a start point, we can use a block, a base mesh for the sculpting, or we can start from the scratch. I mean, using a sphere, 3D model, 3D sphere, and I will show you how I do this. Next step, I'm going to work on the retopology. I do retopology in Maya and 3D Code software. The reason behind this retopo is that I really want to have a clean topology of the high poly version of my character. So this is not the only way you can reach out the clean topology for your character, for your high poly mesh of your character. But I really like this step because I can use this high poly as a model for the trailer animation. So actually, it's very good that I have a version of my character for the cinematic quality. And after that, I'm going to add detail on the my model with ZBrush. I do that with ZBrush, and that's it. Next part, this was for the body and the clothes. So I separate them here, and after this, I'm jump to the head and hand modeling. I use a blackout for I use a base mesh for the head, and I will tweak this base mesh here later and make it a bit more optimized. But if you have your own base mesh, you can use it, or you can use the the sphere and then doing the retopo. I need a UV for the head because I'm going to add some detail from the Mari software. I use some displacement map textures. After applying the displacement map from Mari, uh, I do this step, sculpting the details. By sculpting the details, I mean after the Mari details, Usually we need to sculpting a few wrinkles or do some corrections in some area around the head or hand by adding the alpha or sculpting. So this is a step I do on the head. After that, I'm going to jump on the body texture. So first, I will do the prepare the model for the retopo and baking. Um, Here, I do actually decimating. I optimize the high poly model and prepare it in Maya, import it in Maya and prepare it for the baking. And I do the second retopo here. Here's the the final retopo I did because it's a game version of my models. And after doing the retopo, I make the UVs for the parts here. And after that, so I have a high poly decimation version. I have a low poly with the UV. I'm going to do baking and texturing here. Adding more detail, it means some of the details like these strips, stitches, sorry, or some patterns here, I will add them in the Substance Painter, so they are not in my high poly models. And after that, I'm working on the head and hand texture. For the head, I do polypaint for the texture, actually albedo map, and finish it with the finish it in the Photoshop with. So I will show you how I can do that. For the eyes, I don't do anything special. I'm going to use the models and the texture and the material which the Epic company provide us in the Unreal Engine. I only tweaked it, and if we have a few switch between the Unreal and texturing the head and hand because I want to get the good result, so I have to have an iteration between these softwares to get the good result. Uh, I will work with the material in Unreal, and I'm going to show you how we can uh, work with the material in Unreal 4. And the last part is hair creation, which for the texture of the hair, I use hair and strand designer and Photoshop for create the textures. And for the hair modeling, I use Maya to making and placing the hair cards. It's very handy. And in Unreal Engine, I will add the material on the hairs, and I will show you how it works. So let's see.
Purchase genuine tutorial. Enjoy the question answering from course tutor in the long term. Join the exclusive Facebook group and learn from each other. Also, you can sign up with yihu.com. Search for the course ID. Obtain the full learning courseware, project files. Follow us on Facebook. Get closer to become a master in CG field.